This episode of the Oranges, Orange or Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network, is brought to you by our presenting sponsors, Aligned Health Center and The Place. We are still in our conversation with Aligned Health Center's COO, Maria Giancola, and if you play golf and have chronic pain, maybe it's been a long season, listen up to this conversation. Could this help with Jeremy's golf game? I'm pretty sure he might need some some work there on his drive. You guys help with that?
So all you golfers out there, let me tell you, that is a huge, huge thing that we hear, honestly, because repetitive motion, it's called overuse, basically. An overuse injury to the spine is just as detrimental, if not more, than a traumatic injury. So a lot of times people think that an injury has to be traumatic. They think that it has to be a car accident or a fall or something, very serious. But sitting at your desk every day for 30 years, hunched over in the wrong shape, could cause an overuse injury to the spine. Playing golf twice a week, 3 times a week. I don't know how many times you guys can get out there on the golf course, but that repetitive swinging motion. So really relating that to any athletes, baseball players, even if you're on a softball league, an ice skater, that repetitive motion is going to cause overuse injuries to the spine and is going to cause your spine to lose the correct shape. Mm-hmm. So that's definitely, we have a lot of people that just come in and say, like, my back hurts too bad. My knee hurts too bad. I don't get to golf with my buddies anymore. What can you do to help me? Well, let me tell you, we've got all kinds of good things we can do to help.
Any of those symptoms, wrist pain, if you have trouble walking, go see our friends at Aligned Health Center. You never know what this free consultation is going to show, and they can help you reshape the spine to its ideal overall shape. Maria, thank you.
Absolutely.
Call Aligned Health Center today at 440-230-6865 or visit them online at alignedhealthcenters.com. A fun little jab there at Jeremy's golf game. This episode is also brought to you by our friends at The Place. The Place is the place for all of your hot tub, spa, fireplace, and outdoor grill needs. The Place has been in business for 52 years, all family owned and operated. The Place is a full-service fireplace and spa superstore. They have a newly renovated 16,000 square foot showroom with over 40 live burning fireplaces and 40 hot tubs and swim spas on display. They've been voted North America's #1 service center by Coast Spas 2 of the last 4 years. Their continued follow-up and product service set them apart from their competitors. The Place, listen to this, the Place is not happy and satisfied until you, the customer, are happy and satisfied. Visit The Place on 2377 Medina Road today. Look for the palm trees to transform your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think The Place. This episode is also brought to you by the Press Play Podcast Network. We want to take this time just to give shouts to you guys, our fans. Thank you so much for downloading and listening to the show every single week. We just passed 90,000 downloads for this show alone, The Oranges Oranger. It just blows us away. Remember, we do all this for you guys. We talk, we record, we do all this because we want you guys to have incredible Browns content that's high quality and that is easy to listen to. So thank you so much for listening and indulging us. We have a ton of fun doing it. I think you'll listen to this episode and realize that. And also, as our appreciation to you, we still have a Baker Mayfield Funko Pop giveaway going on. To enter, all you have to do is join our Oranges Oranger Facebook group. I know it's different than Twitter, but if you're on Facebook, just search the Oranges Oranger Browns podcast. Join our Facebook group. Once you enter the group you're in, that's the contest. That's it. Just enter. We'll give it the Funko Pop doll away during the bye week. Just look for us on Facebook. Join our group on the Oranges Oranger to enter. In this episode, Jeremy and I recap the Browns' 31-3 Monday Night Football loss to the 49ers. Jeremy gives us 5 hot minutes where he talks about Nick Bosa. We jump into Browns' silver linings where we try to find a positive from the game. And then we end with game ball. Not game balls. Game ball singular. Not much to give out with this game. But here's what I'll say. Listen, don't freak out. It was one game. They weren't even in the AFC. It's a top 3 team in the NFL. And it's okay. The game wasn't as bad as it seemed. It was close, so we moved the ball all the first half. It's not that bad. We have another game. We have a chance to kind of work on some things against the Seahawks coming up. Short week. It's going to be okay. Don't freak out. Jim Donovan, take us away.
45-40, run, William, run! He's got blockers in front, 5, touchdown! Joshua Cribbs! Snap back, ball down, can't block! They blocked the kick!
This is the Orange is Orange or Browns podcast, part of the Press Play Podcast Network. I'm your host, Chase Smith, and with me, as always, Browns insider Jeremy Powell. Jeremy, are you done licking your wounds from that Monday night massacre?
Monday night. Oh, yeah, Monday night. Did you see Darius Garland for the Cavs? Dude, he looks fantastic. 4 for 4 from the field. Oh, Porter Jr., what? 7 of 9 from the field. Oh, you're talking about the Browns. Yeah.
That's good thing started with 5 hot minutes with Jeremy Powell, presented by Online Motor Credit. Jeremy, go.
Yeah, so I got some news here, and it's probably going to be bad news, and we'll probably get some negative feedback from it, Chase, but I got to talk about it. When you talk a lot of smack over the summer and you don't deliver, you're going to get bashed, and you deserve it, all right? I saw so much blowback on social media towards Nick Bosa for the way he talked about Baker. Guess what, Chase? Baker had it coming. Nick Bosa dominated the game. That's what you guys need to see. It's awesome when you got a brash, cocky, loud quarterback when you are winning. When we are losing and he goes 8 for 22 for 100 yards and a couple picks, even if one of them wasn't his fault, he has to take it and we have to take it. See, I'm old school, Chase. I'm from the school where when you win, you talk. When you lose, you shut up and take what's your medicine, okay? That's what we have to do. We have to take our medicine. We all of us, including me and you, talked all summer about how great we were, how great we're going to be, how we were going to be unstoppable. You know, Baker did the circuit. Probably that looks like the banquet circuit too, but we'll get back to that. Did the circuit, went around, went on every show, got all the endorsements, everything, and he was brash and he was cocky and he said he wasn't going to change for anybody and he was wired how he was and you were just going to have to deal with it. Well, guess what happens when you play like trash on national TV? You have to take it and you have to shut up. And guess what? All of us have to put our heads down, just like the team has to put their heads down and work and win on Sunday to clear this out. That's what it's got to be. We have no leg to stand on. When Nick Bosa and San Francisco fans and all these guys trash us, we just got to put our heads down and take it. That's just what it is. What do you think about that, Chase?
So I'm going to disagree, Jay.
Listen.
No. Not with the
Okay.
We have to shut up and take it. Yes, of course, that's part of sports. But I think Baker gets a bad rap. There's a difference, Jeremy, in getting an endorsement with Progressive and saying what Nick Bosa said at his locker room after the game. There is a difference. I have never seen Baker Mayfield at a locker room, at a podium, be disrespectful the way that Bosa was at the locker. I don't care about his flag plant. I don't give two craps about that. But like what he said, how Richard Sherman has responded, I have never seen Baker act that way towards any other player. And that's different. Being with Hulu, being with Progressive, being with Tom Brady commercials, that's way different. That's way different than acting the way they have acted.
Right, but I'll grant you the Richard Sherman thing. That was stupid, and now they came. But Nick Bosa dominated that game at the line of scrimmage. Nick Bosa has every right to say everything he said because he dominated and he won. And I think part of the resentment towards Baker, you're right, isn't all him, although he did do a lot of interviews where he basically said, this is who I am. I don't care what you say. I'm going to be loud. I'm going to talk. Remember, I'm not your cookie-cutter quarterback. Remember that whole thing? So when you are like that and when you're brash, you're going to take some. The Richard Sherman thing was stupid. I think, but part of the Richard Sherman resentment comes from the fact of what we just talked about. Baker hadn't really proved that much, although, 27 touchdowns and 13 starts is pretty awesome. But he hadn't proved a lot, and every time you turn on Monday Night Football, like we talked about, or Sunday Night Football, what do you see? Baker doing a national commercial, whether it's the NFL Network, whether it's Progressive, whatever commercial it was, Baker is everywhere. And when you're young and you're brash and you're cocky and you're everywhere and you're making endorsement monies, veteran players are going to be jealous. That's just how it works. That's how it rolls. When they come out on national TV and they embarrass you, you're going to have to listen to it. And Baker knows that. I think Baker understands that, but I think the fans are a little taken aback. But that's how it is. Okay, we now have the target. This is what being the hunted looks like. In the past, we were the hunted. There was almost like teams felt a little bit bad for us in the past. The lowly Browns, they haven't done anything. Well, now we start getting accolades that coming our way. We got, guys that are box office. We got superstars out there. Teams want to put it to us. Did it look like San Francisco was inspired to play that game, Chase?
Oh, yeah.
They were those guys were running the ball like it was the damn Super Bowl. They were great. I saw a play where George Kittle blocked 3 dudes, cleared 3 guys out of the play. Breda, Coleman, it didn't matter who was running the ball. They were playing inspired. Did you see on Breda's first touchdown how he was doing the mouth signal, like keep talking? as he was running into the end zone.
Oh, I thought he was
Yeah.
waving. I thought he was waving.
No, he was doing the the mouth, like mouth, keep talking, as in, yeah, I shut you up pretty quick. So it's there, Chase. And now I agree with you that, yeah, I've never seen after a game Baker go into an interview and bash the other team. You're right. He hasn't done that.
He's
He
never
goes
done
into the
that.
game and just
He
talks
has
about
been
that. No,
nothing
he
but a
hasn't.
professional his
I agree
whole
with you.
career. He
Well,
you talk about respect, like as far as like player respect. I mean,
respect for other players. You haven't heard him come out and single out a single player as a bum or anything like that.
I think he gets a bad
He did
rap.
well. Hugh Jackson. I mean, I wouldn't call it professional staring down Hugh and bouncing up the sideline. Now we all love that. We love the cocky brashness, but that only
fair.
plays when you win.
That's
that only
fair.
plays when you win. When you start to lose, you got to accept the fact that teams are going to get on you about that.
That's fair. I think it's super funny that a player who got hurt, couldn't stay healthy, and then left his team is all of a sudden talking smack. Who's had one good game?
Yeah, well,
all of a sudden
that was
he's like able
that
to.
was more than a good game, bro. That was more than a good game. That was a hell of a game. He dominated that front, and I agree with what you're saying to a point. Except there's a discussion to be had about whether what he did was smart or not. You get a pretty serious injury like that, and you're going to be a top 5 pick. A lot of it depends on what your values are. If you value, making money in your future, then you're probably gonna do the same thing he did. If you're more of a team-oriented guy and you just love to play ball, you're probably gonna fight your way back. So that's a value thing. With me and you, probably, I know with me, I would fight my way back to play because I just love the game. The money comes. You know what I mean? Money follows, in my opinion. When you love to do something and you're passionate about it, you do it, and the money will follow. Now, some people think about it the other way. This is my livelihood. This is how I'm going to make my money. I'm going to take my time and come back slowly. So that's a different discussion for a different day. I don't blame Nick Bosa for that. But Nick Bosa was awesome, man. He had 2 sacks, and he was all over Baker all day.
Yeah, I'm sure Nick Bosa would decline endorsement money from Hulu, Progressive, not be in a commercial with Tom Brady, not go. Yeah, like people are going to not do that because they want to be humble. Man, shut up. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I'm not. That's not what. I get you. I get where you're coming from.
Obviously, we got dominated every facet of the game, even though I don't think the game was as
no. And I'm going to talk about that when we get out of 5 hot minutes here.
I know the yardage and all that looks different, but the game was closer than 31-3. I know the 49ers kind of let off the gas a little bit. The Browns did as well. But that one play to Callaway at the end of the second, if that was a touchdown, it's 14-10. The 49ers take it into half. They're getting the ball back. All of a sudden, it's a football game instead of a field goal and a touchdown after the half. I think is how that went maybe.
You know what they say, Chase?
It's a game of inches. They say a lot of things. I don't know what they say.
If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, then every day would be Christmas.
I love that saying. Yeah. So obviously, after this game, everyone's freaking out. The panic button has been pressed again. I want to read a couple things that we asked on Twitter to leave us some spice, some hot takes. Let me just read you a couple, and then you talk us off the ledge. Not so much silver linings. This is kind of where we're at once again, Jeremy. Once again, with a loss in an NFC opponent, not in our division, not in our conference, with the top 3 team in the NFL. All right, this is what we're saying. Promote Mike Preifert to head coach. Baker's not a good quarterback, and Freddie has been the worst head coach in the NFL, even though one just got fired. I added that. This offseason, the Browns and Cowboys are going to be a bidding war for Jay Gruden. The Browns can even beat Ohio State right now for real. Baker Mayfield is not going to be the QB that finally gets the Browns in the playoffs. So he'll end up being benched and have to draft someone else. Dorsey has been quiet. Maybe Monken versus Kitchens is like we had last year with Haley and Jackson. So some of these fans are just losing sleep over this game. Jimmy, this loss didn't bother me that badly. What about you?
Well, of course it bothered me, but yeah, I agree. It almost was like we've talked about this before with the snowball effect on the seasons. There was one of those snowball effects. It just unraveled so quick. It started with and like we talked about football as a game of inches. So right. 1 inch further in, and Ricky Seals-Jones has that catch for a first down the sideline around the 20-yard line, and who knows what happens there. 1 inch on that 2nd and 15 when Odell had about a 25-yard catch and Baker sailed it just out of his reach. Yeah. There's another one. Like you said, Antonio Callaway. People are saying that wasn't a good throw by Baker, but actually –
that was perfect.
People said he had to throw it a little behind him because of the way the defense was coming. So that I don't think that was Exactly. So I think that one was all on Callaway. But all three of those plays right there, those three plays go different. Who knows what happens? It's a different game. But you know what the difference between a good team and a bad team is, though? When the bleeding starts, the good teams know how to stop it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't stop it because we're not there yet. It's obvious we have talent. Look around. It's obvious we have talent. We're just not a great team yet. You know, when you have a ton of talent, you can go out and whoop a team like the Ravens on your talent and talent alone, but you can't do that every week. When you're a team, you can consistently go out there and do that every week. And we hope week by week by week, we get to that point. Now, the schedule is going to ease up in a dramatic way. I don't know if you saw what was released today. The Browns have the second easiest schedule in the league from here on out, even playing the Seahawks and the Patriots back to back. After that, it's nothing but a bunch of garbage. So starting, if we can, that's why to me, this week's game is so important. Because if we get to 3-3 right now with the schedule, then we go into the bye, come back with the Patriots, and then the rest of that really weak schedule, we can do something. If we lose these next two, it's a different story. So I think week to week, we go right now and we beat Seattle and we're right back on track.
You know, I think it wasn't really until the Browns were an obvious passing every situation that we couldn't move the ball. We moved the ball pretty well the first half, Jeremy. We really did against this vaunted.
Yeah, I mean, Chubb is awesome.
This vaunted 49ers defense, which to their credit, once they pin their ears back, man, they are dangerous and fast. But the first and second quarter, we were doing what we wanted. It was just a couple missed balls, honestly. This loss, 49ers are obviously the better team. They're better coached. They were better prepared for this game. Even they had a bye week. Yeah, I think this loss is demoralizing, but it's not defeating in a really weird way. I don't know. Any final thoughts here in the 5 hot minutes, Jay?
No, just that. I mean, yeah, it was horrible and it was rough to watch and we all felt like garbage. And actually for me, at about the halfway through the third quarter, apathy set in and I was just firing off hot takes all over Facebook. but it all, guess what? Just like after we lost to the Rams and then beat the Ravens, same scenario this week. If we can come in and beat the Seahawks this week, we're right back to where we need to be.
Yeah, this is Baker's first game without a touchdown pass since week 3 of the Jets last year.
Yeah. His first in his career. It was the second longest start ever in a career behind Kurt Warner. Yeah. So that was, I think I think Kurt was 23 games. So wasn't far behind them, but hey, start a new streak this week.
Also, it took Freddie Kitchens 4 games to win 2 games. I think it took Hugh Jackson
3
seasons to win 3 games. So everyone just chill out on even Freddie Malt 40 here. We want to give shouts to Online Motor Credit. Online Motor Credit is a family-owned and operated business, the area's first zero-interest in-house financing. They offer zero in-house financing because they understand life happens. Maybe you need a new car. The same week you lose your fridge and AC. Maybe you're in the hospital. You never know. They offer zero-interest in-house financing to help you with that. They're providing good cars to good people at great prices. That's their motto at Online Motor Credit. They provide full-service garage with certified techs on hand every single day, from brakes, tune-ups, and suspension work to air conditioning service. Online Motor Credit provides good work at great prices. Here we go, Jay. I'm going to get it again. Located in Ravenna, Ohio. Did I get it?
Yes.
Yes, back-to-back weeks, baby. Let's go this NFL season. Make Online Motor Credit your first down stop in car shopping. Visit their website at onlinemotorcars.net. That's onlinemotorcars.net to check out the inventory and get started. Use promo code ORANGE19 at checkout to receive 10% off of your brake job or service or any other service work. Also, mentioning Orange19 during the purchase of a car receives a free oil change for a year. Online Motor Credit, providing cars to good people at great prices. Jeremy, let's look for some Browns silver lining here in this 31-3 loss to the 49ers on national television. What do you have for us, man?
I mean, the one silver lining is obvious, and I made a joke about it during the game. I think the Browns' strategy was, when you got a guy playing as well as a Scottish Hammer, you got to get him on the field as much as possible, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he was
I mean, all joke aside, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. And the most phenomenal thing, and they talked about this on Cleveland Browns Daily a few times, was how in the first game they said, you ever think about taking 2 steps instead of 3? Because he almost had a punt block the first week. So that day, for the first time in his career, he tried punting with taking 2 steps instead of 3. And now he's been doing it the whole year, and he's still this good. I mean, that is just a sign of an incredible athlete. Joe Thomas talked about it the other day, actually, on Cleveland Browns Daily. He said generally to tweak for a punter to tweak his approach at all. It's like a whole off season worth of work. And this guy went out in a game and changed what he'd been doing all this time, and he's still one of the best punters in the league. So hats off to the Browns for having the courage to cut a proven veteran and keep this guy around, because he is a weapon, man. There's no doubt. I mean, it's really, cool to watch just how good he is. So I think that's our number one silver lining, is the punter is phenomenal.
That's not our number one silver lining.
It's my number one silver lining.
So listen,
what's your number one silver lining?
It was obvious that there was an intentional effort to get OBJ involved in the game, from runs at the start to passes. And honestly, I didn't care him
how
returning
good
the punt.
His passes look, by the way. Yeah,
I did not care.
He wanted to go out there and make a play.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I agree.
I would not be surprised if he said, I'm going in. I don't know. Maybe he did it. Maybe Freddie was just like, yo, go out there. But I looked at a player trying to make a play, trying to do something positive. The fumble, he was just trying way too hard. But I'd rather someone try way too hard when it's 28-3 than just like not trying at all. I had no problem with that at all. And so I think that, good on the coaches for trying to get him involved. His impact is still obvious. You see all the time on Twitter the attention he draws. And so I think that's a good thing, right? I mean, that's a silver lining.
Yeah, absolutely. And how pretty a ball does he throw? Yeah, it literally looks like a quarterback coming out of his hand, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like both these passes the last 2 weeks, the ball looks like a quarterback. Dude's a natural athlete. Have you seen him swing a golf club?
No.
Never. He said he's never really played golf in his life, and he put a video up this offseason of him swinging a golf club, and he looks like, Brooks Koepka. It's incredible.
Well, he's
swing
the
is natural.
best field goal. I mean, he's incredible kicking field goals.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's one of those guys that you hate because he's good at whatever he tries. He picks something up and he's better than you. You know what I mean? So that's a silver lining. That's cool. And you're right. I would say it's kind of a silver lining that he was that engaged in the game that he wanted to get out there and try and make a play, that he didn't check out. He didn't, you know what I mean? He wasn't checked out at that point in the game, that he still wanted to make a play. So I'll take that as a silver lining. Then the next silver lining for me, Chase, has got to be Nick Chubb. I mean, no matter like we talked about, all this guy does is do what he's told and does his job well. He averaged over 5 yards a carry. Like you said, once the game gets away from you, it's tough to stick to the running game. The old saying, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
And we got punched in the mouth, so we had to get away from the plan. But if we can get to a point in the season, look, we couldn't do what we did against the Ravens because why? Because we got so far down. Now, if we can keep games close and not let games get away from us, we're always going to have a fighter's chance because of Nick Chubb. Because he can grind out the clock and grind out yards, and we can use the run to set up the pass. He's a phenomenal talent, a phenomenal player. I'm glad he's on our team, and he's definitely a silver lining.
And I think here's another silver lining, dude. My Baker's overweight take is vindicated.
Yeah, you're right, man. He does look. Did you see the side by side from last season? It's tough to tell until you see that. Someone posted a side by side of the Jets game last year, him coming off the field, and then this game yesterday, him coming off the field, and there is no doubt he's got 15 to 20 pounds on him. I guess that happens to everybody when they get. I guess that happens to everyone when they get married, not just us normal people, right?
I guess. I mentioned this. He posted an off-season workout video, and I was like, Baker, why are you posting this, man? Like, you do not look like you're in shape. I sent it to my friends. I think, did we talk about it on the show? Or was it a pre-show conversation?
Yeah, we did. No, you talked about it. You talked about it a little bit.
He just looked. I mean, I'm not going to say
heavy.
He just didn't look in shape.
He looks heavy. Did you see, and you know what, I almost took a picture of it and sent it to you before the game when the San Francisco's got that cool setup where you got to walk by the fans to get to the field. Yeah. So there's fans lining, and he had his shirt up almost like Ezekiel Elliott. And I almost took a picture. I almost took a picture and sent it to you because it was not flattering. He didn't look like Zeke, but he had his shirt up, cropped up until he got on the field. I was like, oh man, dad bod, right?
Bake.
So,
dude, text your boy TB12. Get on that regime, man, or something. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I every day, the past couple of days I've been on Twitter, it's just people are bringing that up. And at first I was the only one on that island, and now real estate's getting pretty thin, man.
Everyone's jumping on. It's true. I mean, he's definitely put on a couple pounds.
So hopefully he gets that worked out, or he figures out a way to change his play style. Something, I don't know. Something is different. I'm not saying that's it. But I don't know. Let's jump to some game balls, and I think I know who you're going to give one to, Jay. You want to pass out the first one?
Yeah, I'm going to give it to my man, the Scottish Hammer, because he did an awesome job. he stepped up. I mean, all joking aside, he really did. It's phenomenal to watch. He's going to get my first game ball.
Yeah. So 7 punts, 397 yards, an average of 56.7, which is just ridiculous.
He had the 71-yarder that was ridiculous. If the game would have been close, the way he flipped the field. No, all joking aside, when you can flip the field like that, I think he was punting from his own 10 or something. But the flip the field like that is a big time thing, especially in close games.
Yep, 4 punts inside the 20. It's just great work by you.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
I don't know any other game balls.
Struggling there.
Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, and he's always playing inspired. He had 4 catches for I think 75-ish yards, somewhere in there. I think until further notice, we got to keep giving Nick Chubb game balls because he did run hard. He had the big run. He averaged over 5 yards a carry. He had a couple nice catches. If they would have kept giving him the ball, if they could have, they couldn't because it got out of hand. But he probably would have had another 150-yard game, if they could have kept going to him.
All right, so I want to talk about that Nick Chubb run.
Chubb.
Before he made that 30-yard run, the Baker sent OBJ into motion behind Baker, and then he called a timeout. And OBJ seemed to be pretty upset. Like, why did we call a timeout? We had something. They called a timeout. After the timeout, it was a quick snap to Chubb, and he was off. Was that orchestrated? Like, was that part of the plan?
No, that's actually a little – believe it or not, my youth team runs that same play that I'm the offense coordinator of. What you do is you get their motion looking at him. You kind of – I don't know if Baker actually faked the pitch and handed it underneath, but we run that as a counter. And that's meant to be a quick hitter to get, it's just eye candy to get the defensive eyes looking at the guy in motion. They know it's OBJ. They'd already pitched it to him one time outside, and then you hand it back underneath as a counter. So Baker took it, handed it underneath the Chubb, and boom, away he went.
It surprised me because my mind went back to the Tennessee game where the Browns ran the same play after it might have been a false start, right? And Tennessee knew what was coming, and they didn't change it. And so when they came out in that same formation and the same motion, I was like, what are you doing? And so that made me think, oh man, was this planned? Did they really burn a timeout just to, I mean, it worked, but I don't know. So you think it was a quick pitch to Chubb?
I think the play clock, because I think the play clock got down to like 2. If I remember correctly, I remember them calling timeout. I remember you're right that Odell looked annoyed, but I think the play clock was at 2. Yeah, so he may have thought he couldn't get off. Oh yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go back and look.
I don't think people should freak out. This wasn't in our conference. It wasn't in our division. A lot of the other teams lost that would be looking for a wild card. The Ravens beat the Steelers, but the Bengals lost. And so I don't think big picture, this is going to really hurt the team that much. But as far as game balls go, that's all I got, man. I don't have – there's really nothing happened. Nothing happened. The defense, I thought – the first couple turnovers, the 49ers had 0 points, which really kept us in the game. And so collectively, I think the defense did what they could. I think they just got exhausted.
No, I agree. Here's going back to the silver lining segment. Here's a silver lining for next week's game. Did you see this news?
No. I don't know what you're going to say.
Everyone practiced today for the first time this season.
Ooh.
Every Browns player, all 53 men, including Kendall Lamb, the backup tackle, Greedy Williams, Denzel Ward, Rashard Higgins, every single player on the team practiced today for the first time this season. So maybe we're getting healthy at the right time, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, healthy. If we could get through this game, no injuries, and didn't have a bye, that would be ideal.
Perfect.
That would be ideal. I want to give special shouts to our presenting sponsors, Alliant Health Center and The Place. Alliant Health Center is Northern Ohio's first chiropractic biovisits clinic. Their mission is simple: tell people in the West Lake and Beachwood areas achieve the best possible health and overall wellness. Also, shouts to our other presenting sponsor, The Place. The Place is a full-service fireplace and spa superstore. The Place has been in business for 52 years, family-owned and operated, transforming your backyard into the backyard of your dreams. When you think of fireplaces, hot tubs, grills, and patios, think The Place, and look for the palm trees. Also, shouts to Online Motor Credit for sponsoring our 5 Hot Minutes segment. Jeremy, any final thoughts?
No, man. Hey, we all overreacted when it first happened. I did too. That's why I'm sometimes glad after a loss we don't do the show right away, because it's going to be such a crazy overreaction. I'm going to go nuts. So after you have a day to sit back, I always watch again twice, like I told you. Sit back, look at what actually happened, cool down a little bit, analyze it. It's not as horrific as it's all. Don't, get off the bridge. I think we're going to be all right. It was just another series of unfortunate events that snowballed on us, and we didn't know how to get out from underneath the avalanche. So I think we're going to be all right. I'm pumped to see what happens this week, and we'll talk to you guys in a couple of days with a preview show.
All right, here we go, Browns. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Hoo, hoo, hoo.